Okay, so we were talking about where to put keywords on your website and what parts of your website to populate, what parts of your WordPress website to populate with these keywords, and how to best optimize your WordPress website. So to do it, I use the Yoast SEO for WordPress plugin. People ask me, a couple of people asked me even during the break, I use the all-in-one SEO plugin, what's the difference? I think it's really just a matter of personal preference. From what I know, I have as many colleagues that use one as the other. And I think they do relatively the same things. I don't have a lot of experience with the all-in-one. I used it once or twice to do just the same things I do with the Yoast, tag titles and meta description tags. But the Yoast SEO plugin has some features that I really do like, so I kind of go around evangelizing it to all my friends. Here you can see, I showed you the snippet earlier of the Google search results, and you can see the title and the, here it's got a good example of the actual permalink, and then below is that snippet or the meta description. So these things can be set in using the Yoast plugin, and you set them at the page or post level. So you're going to optimize each page or each post individually. There are some other settings that are sort of global if you just want to set one default setting for the whole site. But normally you'd want to optimize each page or post. Let me go back to that one. You know what? I better just do the demo first because I think we get ahead of ourselves with this stuff. So, this is a client of mine. She's fabulous, the fabulous paddle diva. She teaches something called stand-up paddling out in the Hamptons. I maintain her blog for her, and we do a little work on her website. Her website isn't a WordPress site, but her blog is, because we wanted to really leverage the WordPress SEO stuff. So today's post was about this woman, Bethany Frankel, who I guess I must be the only person on earth had not heard of her, but she's apparently some kind of celebrity on television. So I just want to show you, here's the blog post for it. I posted this morning. I needed to optimize it. I figured I would optimize it around the word Bethany Frankel. I think people will like her and they'll be searching for her. I don't know how much good it'll really do my client, but I thought let's use that. So here's the whole post, and I'll show you the back end just to show you what it looks like in the dashboard. Oh, maybe I should get that edit button. Okay, here she is. And I'll show you that dashboard too because it has some features there. So when you install the Yoast plugin, what it does is it adds a couple of extra fields to your post or page setup. Under the editing window, you'll see the section here for the plugin, WordPress SEO by Yoast. And what I like about it is it gives you this little snippet preview, so you can always see what your entry is going to look like in Google when you finish this. You assign a keyword here, and you can assign an SEO title here, and you can see that the title doesn't have to match the title of the post, right? So you can change it. I think in this case I used the same one, but those can be independent. And then below, here's the meta description. And Lynette was asking me, I don't know where she went, like, what's the meta description? Here you add it, and then it shows up in the Google search results here. Right? So whatever you add to that box on the bottom is going to show up on your search results here. Okay, so let's go back there and look at it again. Now, what I like about this is as I add the keyword in here, right, if I change this, let's say, I'm going to change this to WordPress. And I think I need to update it to see this thing happen, but let's update. Okay, now you'll see when you go down here, Yoast will tell me, based on the keyword I put in here, it's not finding it. It's not finding it in the article heading. It's not finding it in the page title. It's not finding it in the page URL. It doesn't see it in the content or the meta description. If I add it in here, so when I'm doing these and I first add the word, as I start working on my SEO, it'll update it and show me, okay, I see it in the title, I see it in the description, and it'll actually give the page a ranking. from red, yellow, and green being the best. So here you can see now this little button has turned to green, meaning my SEO is good. And then down here you'll see that it tells me I found your keyword in all of the places it needs to be. So that's a really handy thing. And if you click into this page analysis, the second tab on the Yoast plugin, this will even further break down the SEO score for your page. It'll show you all the things you saw on the previous page, but it'll give you some extra information. And it'll tell you whether that's good or bad. So I feel like using this plugin actually helps you get better at SEO. Because it'll tell you here, right, there are 381 words contained in the body copy. That's greater than the 300-word recommended minimum. So it'll actually do a word count for you and tell you, your blog post might be a little thin. You might want to beef it up a little bit. And here it'll tell me, like, the page title is more than 40 characters and less than the recommended 70. Okay, it'll actually do the count for you when you're entering the data in the plugin. So, like, if I go over my recommended character count, it'll show me how much over I am. So there has a lot of nice little nifty features, I used to have to cut and paste phrases into like Word and then do a character count there, but you can do it all in the dashboard now. Let me just go back to my presentation to see. Right, so this is the nice summary that you get, this page analysis. It'll tell you, there are things that I don't pay so much attention to. Like it'll always tell me that the language is too difficult to read. I don't know what it's basing it on, but I don't think there's any, there are any particularly big words on the page there or difficult grammar. But here it'll tell me like this, there are images on this page that do not have alt tags containing my keyword phrase. So I can go back then and find that. There are only 2 images here. And I think I discussed this earlier about how you can optimize your images by going to the editing window. Oh, well, this one has some. So I don't know what it's seeing. Maybe it's the one, I think there are some issues with optimizing this feature image. I don't think it always takes the settings for the SEO, but you know what? You get as close as you can. Okay, this one's not optimized. Maybe that's why. So let's see if it gets any better for me if I add in some. What's her name? Bethany Frankel. Let me just change these things. Symbol changes. I think that's all I should have to do. And then update the page. And let me see if I'm still getting that message about not having an optimized image. Yeah, so now you can see it changed to green. The images on this page contain alt tags with the target keyword phrase. So, the more green you have, obviously, the better score your page will get. And it kind of just gives you like a little peace of mind. Yes?
Does this do everything for you that you need, or do you have to go into a site manually as well and do other things for SEO?
It does everything I need it to do. I'm not sure what you mean by like go into a site manually.
Is it optimized to the point that, I'm just asking, is it the full package? It gives you everything that you need.
It gives you more than I've ever used.
Okay.
I tend to use, this is the big piece, the snippet preview piece, so that I can optimize pages and posts. And usually, like on a website, I'll optimize, the static pages as best as I can. Obviously, like things like the contact page are difficult, but you can at least put the name of the company in and the city if it's got a local focus. But the posts, I always look for relevant keywords, even if they're not really relevant to my site necessarily. Like Bethany Frankel doesn't really have anything to do with the paddle surf instructor, except she took a paddle surfing lesson. But I figure that it's nice to kind of optimize around the topic, because people who are interested in reading Bethany Frankel might see this post, and I might get a new reader for my blog or for my client's blog. Did you have a question?
Yeah, if you already have like a keyword naming convention for your images before you post them, will the plugin alter your naming convention? Will it, technically rename your photograph, or will both of them be indexed?
Well, how are you you mean the file names?
Yeah, file names.
No, it won't rename your file names. You'd have to do that manually. Okay, let me see what else is left. There's not too much left. Okay, some other things it adds is it'll create an XML sitemap for you. So you don't have to send it through a separate sitemap generator. And it's simple as checking the box. So when you check this box to enable XML sitemap functionality, and it'll say right immediately, you can find your XML sitemap here. This link will take you to your XML sitemap, and you can then submit that sitemap to, I think it automatically submits it to Google. But like if you're running your stuff through Bing Webmaster Tools or any of the other places that accept sitemap submissions, you can use this sitemap to give to those search engines. Does a nice job with that.
Does it fixes up your title tags, right? Like,
It does. Let me just see if I have that in here. No, I don't. There is, let me show you on the dashboard, there is a place where you can kind of set default titles,
that's a big one for us.
right? So,
Yeah.
titles and metas. Yeah, so you can actually set these things up site-wide. It'll clean up header tags. I have never really used these. I mean, I haven't felt like I had the need to. Where is that?
Well, you just want to make sure
Here.
your
Here.
title tag changes from page to page.
I do. I don't want the same title tag. In fact, I mean, I think I've used some SEO tools that do sort of evaluations, and if you have too many duplicate titles,
Right.
you're penalized for that. They don't want to see a lot of duplicate
Not-
titles.
Not just on the post, but on even
Uneven and
category pages.
right, right. So here you can actually give, separate. This is kind of silly because I have a static homepage, but you could, give sort of default title and metadata that will show up on any pages that you haven't done it for. So it's kind of nice. Like it sort of catches the stuff that you're not kind of focusing on. What else have we got? Oh, it does have, when you first plug in, when you first add the plugin, it does have a nice introductory tour. So it'll step you through all of the features. So if you don't remember anything that you saw here tonight, you can, when you install the plugin, it does have a nice little walkthrough. And you'll see, it'll kind of walk you through each one of these picks, each one of the functions of the plugin. It'll give you a little description on how to use them. So there's also this ability to, except I think there might be a little bug with this because I can't make it see all my Facebook pages. But there is a place where you can associate your blog posts with your Facebook page, and it works great. Except it only shows me 3 of the 10 sites that I administer on Facebook, and I don't know how to make it show me the rest. So I can't really use this. But you could experiment and see how that works. It also uses, and I haven't played with this either, this Open Graph metadata, which is kind of allows you to tag your blog content so that it shows up the way you want it to when you share it on the social networks. I think Twitter started that, right, with Twitter cards, so that you could have kind of.
I know Facebook, those are a must-have for Facebook sharing.
Okay, so you can do it with the plugin. What else have we got? Yeah, here's just a blow up of that social, those social pieces that you can use. I don't know the syntax for using it, so I have not played with it. And then it has all these other advanced features, which I haven't explored a lot. You can configure your robots file. Do you know what a robots file is? That's the thing that tells Google what not to index on your site. So for WordPress users, almost everyone adds the wp-admin to the robots text file because you don't want Google looking through your admin files. It shouldn't be able to with the permissions, but I guess it could index them. Canonical, like where exactly is the authoritative text on your site? Those are kind of advanced topics. Breadcrumb trails, I have not ever implemented it, but I think it does actually add a breadcrumb trail for you, and that helps your SEO too if your keywords are the ones that you're using for links in the breadcrumbs. Permalink cleanup, RSS enhancements, it allows you to, I think, add a little a link before and after your RSS feed items so that you can always make sure that it's going to link back to your blog, your original post, and your blog feed. So that's about it. I did say I was going to talk about, oh, sorry.
I just had a quick question
Sure.
about the tags. When you're doing them, you're able to put in one keyword. Can you do multiple keywords?
No,
Or
one focus keyword per page.
Okay. Is there anywhere else you can put the other?
Yes, you can use, I would say, you can put secondary keywords on your page, put them in the body. put them in the body or in the headings. Like if you can find a way to work one in the heading or bold text or an anchor link, yeah, you can have multiple keywords. Any other questions on the, yes?
Regarding SEO or?
On anything, yeah.
The one question you didn't go over regarding SEO is like page speed.
Yes.
So like I use Google Page Speed. It's like a plugin for Firefox.
Okay.
But are there any plugins that you use to optimize speed or test your speed?
My developers use,
Okay.
I don't know, they use caching plugins. And I think that helps a lot. With what's the one?
W3 Total Cache and
Super
Cloudflare.
Cache?
Yeah.
I've heard both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really get into that sort of back-end stuff,
Okay.
other than kind of harping on the developers to make sure that the pages are fast, yeah. So what to ask SEO vendors? One thing I would suggest is never trust anyone that makes any kind of guarantees about rankings. And oftentimes rankings aren't necessarily the goal. Traffic to the site might be a more important goal than getting a good high ranking. The idea being that you don't really want to get caught up in that frenzy of feeling like, you know, you've got to rank on that first page. It's really great if you can rank on that first page. But it's better if, generally speaking, the people that are looking for you are finding you, regardless of whether or not you rank on that first page. And there are a whole variety of ways to do that, and a good SEO will offer you a lot of different suggestions for doing that. They may offer you on-site SEO, they may offer you a link building campaign, social media campaigns. There are a lot of things to look for in SEO vendors. Ask them how they conduct their keyword research. You know, are they just pulling these out of thin air? Like, how are they coming up with the best keywords for your business or your website? And of course, ask them what you're getting for your money, and ask them how they plan on measuring performance every month. What metrics are they going to show you that the work they're doing for you is having, you know, is giving you a return on your investment? That could be anything you agree to. It could be keyword rankings. It could be increased traffic. Great if you have some kind of thing on your website that actually converts people. Some kind of call to action, sign up for my mailing list, or, you know, subscribe to my blog. These are real measurements of how people are, you know, if people are actually seeing your site.
You're saying metrics is basically, it depends upon the particular task you're doing for the client. It's not something you could just, do you have any metrics that you could recommend in which?
I think it depends on the goals. I think that you want to make your metrics match what the client's goals are, or your own goals. I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Out of my mind
Okay.
already, you know?
Okay, so that's really all about it. And do ask them, you know, it's not a one-time thing. People say, I'm going to sell you optimization for your site. It doesn't work that way. It's iterative. You know, you do it, you see how it works, you change it. You always constantly refining and modifying. So ask them, you know, how often will you do it? Are you going to revisit it for me quarterly, monthly? Just be clear on what you're getting for your money.
Oh, I remember. So you use this particular plugin to do the analytics?
No, I use this, although Yoast does make a plugin that allows you to get your Google Analytic data in the dashboard as well. And it works kind of in conjunction with this plugin. Yes?
Does Yoast work with posts only, or
No,
also with
all the pages,
and
yep.
products?
Yep. I believe, yeah, I think custom post, yep. Yep. Yes, sir?
Question, have you played with self-hosted WordPress installation, piggybacking onto Jetpack via WordPress.com?
No. No. But I will give you a suggestion for something else in a second. Let me just wrap this up. Or, was there another question? I'm sorry, I don't want to, everyone's kind of fainting from the heat. Everyone's cool? Okay. So this is the last slide. I included kind of what I think to be like really good comprehensive but basic resources for doing SEO. SEO Moz, which Jonathan talked about, it's a great resource. I mean, if you can pay for the tools every month and you really, you know, want to get into SEO, I would recommend it. But they do have a good module there, Chapter 5, on how to conduct keyword research. Google has a great search engine optimization starter guide in PDF. And Yoast, the guy that makes the plugin, this guy knows his stuff. I mean, he's really into the SEO. He's constantly researching and always on top of what's going on in the search community. So I would definitely read his definitive guide. Google and SEO friendly page titles. There's a little video. It might be Matt Cutts. It's somebody from Google that talks about, you know, how to create those to the best advantage. Copy Blogger, Copywriting 101, good copywriting tips for good SEO copy. And then Matt Kutz's blog. Always something that you'd want to read about because he'll tell you what's happening. In fact, I think he just announced that there are more algorithm changes coming and everybody's up in arms again. So that's really it about Yoast. I do want to mention that, I have to talk about myself a little bit too. I'm part of a collective that formed as a result of meeting at this Meetup group, and that's called the Tadpole Collective. There's 5 of us, 4 of the other, everyone but me is kind of involved in organizing the WordCamps and the Meetups. And we are preparing our first, where is it? Our first workshop offering. Let's get us there. To help people that are looking to move to self-hosted WordPress platforms, because I know we have a lot of people using WordPress.com and it doesn't always, they can't use the plugins they want. There are some limitations. I have heard of this Jetpack, but I've been warned, like, oh no, we don't use those plugins. We are offering our own set of WordPress managed hosting. But the thing we're most excited about is this beginner workshop, getting started with WordPress, which we're having Saturday, September 29th. Place to be confirmed, somewhere downtown. But this is really meant for people who are really beginners to WordPress, or using WordPress.com that want to start moving to their own self-hosted site. We will help you learn how to install it, install your theme, select the theme, install plugins, edit your content, deal with your media, and we will give you some free hosting so that when you're done with the class, you can take your WordPress website with you. And I hope that we'll see some of you there. All right. Any other questions at all about SEO or?
Does the workshop cost money?
It does. The workshop is going to cost $120. It's a 5-hour workshop. It does include the 3 free months of hosting, so that's a $45 value, if that helps sell it. And I think we have room for about 30. But we will give another one, and we will be giving more advanced topics too, which will include SEO. Not in the basics, but down the road we'll offer that. All right, thanks everyone. Thanks for putting up with the heat.